Tel Lachish, also Tel ed-Duweir, is the site of an ancient Near East city, now an archaeological site and an Israeli national park. Lachish is located in the Shephelah region of Israel between Mount Hebron and the Mediterranean coast. It is first mentioned in the Amarna letters as Lakisha-Lakiša. According to the Bible, the Israelites captured and destroyed Lachish for joining the league against the Gibeonites. The territory was later assigned to the tribe of Judah and became part of the kingdom of Israel. Of the cities in ancient Judah, Lachish was second in importance only to Jerusalem. One of the Lachish letters warns of the impending Babylonian destruction. It reads, "Let my Lord know that we are watching over the beacon of Lachish, according to the signals which my Lord gave, for Azekah is not seen." Quote, according to the prophet Jeremiah, Lachish and Azekah were the last two Judean cities before the conquest of Jerusalem. This pottery inscription can be seen at the Israel Museum in Jerusalem. History. Occupation at the site of Lachish began during the Pottery Neolithic period. Major development began in the early Bronze Age. During the Middle Bronze too, the Canaanite settlement came under strong Egyptian influence. The next peak was the late Bronze Age, when Lachish is mentioned in the Amarna letters. This phase of the city was destroyed in a fire. California. 1150 BCE. The city, under protection of the New Kingdom of Egypt, was rebuilt by the Canaanites. One of the two discovered temples was built at the northwest corner of the mount, outside the city limits and within the disused moat, which led the archaeologists to call it the Foss Temple. However, this settlement was soon destroyed by another fire, perhaps from an invasion by the Sea Peoples or Israelites. The mound was abandoned for 2 centuries. Rebuilding of the city began in the early Iron Age during the 10th and 9th centuries BCE, when it was settled by the Israelites. The unfortified settlement may have been destroyed c. 925 BCE by Egyptian pharaoh Sheshonq I. In the first half of the 9th century BCE, under the kings Asa and Jehoshaphat, Lachish became an important city in the kingdom of Judah. It was heavily fortified with massive walls and ramparts, and a royal palace was built on a platform in the center of the city. Lachish was the foremost among several fortified cities and strongholds guarding the valleys that lead up to Jerusalem and the interior of the country against enemies which usually approached from the coast. In 701 BCE, during the revolt of King Hezekiah against Assyria, it was besieged and captured by Sennacherib despite the defenders' determined resistance. Some scholars believe that the fall of Lachish actually occurred during a second campaign in the area by Sennacherib. California. 688 BCE. The site now contains the only remains of an Assyrian siege ramp discovered so far. Sennacherib later devoted a whole room in his palace without a rival, the Southwest Palace in Nineveh, for artistic representations of the siege on large alabaster slabs, most of which are now on display in the British Museum. They hold depictions of Assyrian siege ramps, battering rams, sappers, and other siege machines and army units, along with Lachish's architecture and its final surrender. In combination with the archaeological finds, they give a good understanding of siege warfare of the period. So much attention was given to the success at Lachish also because, unlike at Jerusalem, managed to withstand Sennacherib's onslaught. The town was rebuilt in the late 7th century BCE during the decline of the Neo-Assyrian Empire. However, the city fell to Nebuchadnezzar in his campaign against Judah in 586 BCE. Modern excavation of the site has revealed that the Assyrians built a stone and dirt ramp up to the level of the Lachish city wall, thereby allowing the soldiers to charge up the ramp and storm the city. Excavations revealed approximately 1,500 skulls in one of the caves near the site, and hundreds of arrowheads on the ramp and at the top of the city wall, indicating the ferocity of the battle. The city occupied an area of 8 hectares and was finally destroyed in 587 BCE. Residents were exiled as part of the Babylonian captivity. During Babylonian occupation, a large residence was built on the platform that had once supported the Israeli palace. At the end of the captivity, some exiled Jews returned to Lachish and built a new city with fortifications. Under the Babylonian or Achaemenid Empire, a large altar on the east section of the mound was built. The shrine was abandoned after the area fell in the hands of Alexander the Great. The Tel has been unoccupied since then. Identification. During the 19th and early 20th centuries, Lachish was identified with Tel Lachish from a cuneiform tablet found there. The tablet is a letter from an Egyptian official named Papa, reporting cases of treachery involving a local kinglet, Zimreda. However, this hypothesis is no longer accepted. More recent excavations have identified Tel ed-Duweir as Lachish. Archaeology. The site of Tel ed-Duweir was first excavated in 4 seasons between 1932 and 1938 by the Wellcome Marston Archaeological Research Expedition. The work was led initially by James Leslie Starkey until he was murdered by Arab bandits. The effort was completed by Olga Tufnell. Publication identifying 7 occupation levels was completed in 1958. In 1966 and 1968, in a dig which focused mainly on the solar shrine, Yohanan Afuroni worked the site on behalf of Hebrew University and Tel Aviv University. Excavation and restoration work was conducted between 1973 and 1994 by Tel Aviv University Institute of Archaeology and Israel Exploration Society, team led by David Ussishkin. The excavation focused on the Late Bronze and Iron Age levels. Paleo-Hebrew letters on Ostrissa. Excavation campaigns by James Leslie Starkey recovered a number of Hebrew letters, written on pieces of pottery, so-called Ostrissa. 18 letters were found in 1935 and 3 more in 1938, all written in Paleo-Hebrew script. They were from the latest occupational level immediately before the Chaldean siege. They then formed the only known corpus of documents in Classical Hebrew. Lml K Seals. Another major contribution to biblical archaeology from excavations at Lachish are the Lml K Seals, which were stamped on the handles of a particular form of ancient storage jar. More of these artifacts were found at this site than any other place in Israel. Most of them were collected from the surface during Starkey's excavations, but others were found in Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3. It is thanks to the work of David Ussishkin's team that 8 of these stamped jars were restored, thereby demonstrating lack of relevance between the jar volumes, and also proving the relation to the reign of biblical King Hezekiah. The 1898 reference by Blisp contains numerous drawings, including examples of Phoenician, etc., pottery, and items from Pharaonic Egypt, and other Mediterranean and inland regions. The 4th expedition to Lachish. In 2013, a 4th expedition to Lachish was begun under the direction of Joseph Garfinkel, Michael G. Hassel, and Martin G. Klingbeil to investigate the Iron Age history of the site on behalf of the Institute of Archaeology, the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, and the Institute of Archaeology, Southern Adventist University. Other consortium institutions include Virginia Commonwealth University, Oakland University, and Korean Jangsan University.